So the uranium price yesterday went up again, but uranium stocks had a slight pullback. I'm not worried too much. The overall market was down, and uranium stocks obviously had a massive day the day before. So some of those stocks ran 25%. So it is always normal to see a slight pullback, especially because the stocks after into the post market went up. So I'm going to cover a bunch of stuff about the overall uranium market, Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. I'm going to talk about stocks that I've actually bought and some really good news with those, and just overall market and energy commodity sentiment right now. So hit that like and subscribe button below, and I'm going to continue to make these videos, especially daily, especially if you guys like these. So if this video gets 1,000 likes, I am actually really looking forward to doing a Uranium 3 documentary. You know, I could be putting those out a bunch, but with the documentaries, I usually like to have some big catalysts. We have had some big catalysts to cover, and I want spot uranium over 70. But if you guys get this to 1,000 likes, I'm going to really start working on that and try to get that documentary for uranium out. So there's been some confusion. I've got a lot of messages from people. Amir, the CEO of UEC, actually reported that there was conflicting numbers. 4.3 billion was what the US, supposedly the Biden administration, that's the number that they're wanting for US enrichment to fund. And there was also a report of 3.5 billion. Well, I responded and said that I know where the 3.5 billion came from. You know, some of these news coverage, they looked into it. That was Senator Manchin's bill, the one I talked about before, S4064. This was about a month ago or so. 3.5 billion for US. This is for the nuclear fuel program, and that will remain till 2031. I talked about this in the last video. And then also an undisclosed amount, pretty much says whatever sums are needed for uranium reserve. We know that needs to be a ton more than they put. So this was the bill that had the 3.5 billion. So I think it is the 4.3 billion, which is a lot bigger. So Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, jumping into this, we actually have almost $3 billion worth of uranium now. That 56 million, if you round up, pounds is actually worth right now. Spot uranium did go up again. You know, we're getting close to $54 on that ask now. And what's great about it is they didn't stack anything yesterday. So this is actually, you know, the last time we had the 300,000 was a couple days ago. So this is really good. We're starting to see the price of uranium go up. Their assets are going up, and we're seeing them able to still raise. They were able to still raise. Now they're at $110 million. So they're going to be able to buy a lot of uranium, and I'm hoping that it's going to be in the $60 range to really help it push it to 70. So they have traded the premium for a good amount still. They're still over, you know, that, you know, 50%. They're trading more days at a premium. So they're going to be able to raise more. So this is very, very positive in my opinion. I'm not worried. Uranium stocks, enriched stock LEU did very well though. Yesterday, 14%. This was one that I established a long position in. A lot of people did with this, UEC, and some people in the Discord doing phenomenal as well. 6 figures with some of the people. I'm really proud. I'm really happy. People had cash and they deployed it. And it's really good to see that. And I'm just really excited to see where this goes. Like I said, a little slight pullback, you know, yesterday on UEC, a couple percent, nothing too bad from its high, you know, it pulled back. So, you know, when you look back at the charts, you see these types of moves, especially with uranium. We get big pullbacks and then boom, breaks out to, you know, a new high. And this was like almost a 11-year high or so for UEC as well. So very excited to see how things go. Cameco, this is another positive sign, did close positive yesterday. You know, this is really the one that, you know, hit a 52-week high. It's one of the biggest producers obviously out there behind Kazatomprom. So it is very positive that they were still, you know, green. Now the overall stock market yesterday, it wasn't horrible. We've seen way worse, but you know, energy, a lot of energy stocks were down. Obviously, we have some news though. Natural gas in the United States, there was a fire at the Freeport terminal there in Texas. So they think that a lot of this speculation that some of the fuel could be stranded. So the US market went down, but they did hit a 13-year high recently. So we're still, you know, we see the UK gas price obviously skyrocket really big today. But we saw this way higher. So UK gas had that. It was almost like, what was it? 4,000% run, in the last couple years since 2020. So, I mean, it spiked and then went back down, and then the war. So one thing is uranium. If you don't look at these crazy, black swan type things, uranium is doing very well compared to everything else so far this week. And I think it's going to continue to run. I want to see this get back into the 60s, and then Sprott Physical Uranium Trust to start buying up more uranium. Now, uranium stocks in Australia just pretty much followed the US market. Now, a lot of the green ones like Anfield up 10%. We're going to talk about them. UEC actually got money from them, and the Uranium One assets, they were able to close as well. We'll talk about that. Very positive. I want to show you UEC's long-term, outlook and their assets, and why that is very big, and why I actually established a position in this company. It's really, really impressive that they were able to load 5 million pounds. And this is uranium. This isn't in the ground. This is actually stored in a warehouse. These are in barrels. And this is going to be big because being a producer, when they want to fill a lot of these uranium contracts, they can actually use that very quickly. Just transfer the name, but it is profit for them. So when uranium hits 200, which I believe it will, this will be worth $1 billion. That just this little portfolio. We're not even talking about the hundreds of millions of pounds of uranium that they could pull out of the ground in the future, But they actually were able to. We'll jump over here. We'll come back to this real quickly, though. The U.S. markets, I'm going to show you for today. They are up. I like to make these videos pre-market so you guys kind of know what's going on. Pre-market is up almost 1%. So this is very positive. I think before the numbers come out, we'll probably have a good market pump in a sense, because tomorrow inflation numbers come out and it could be a good day. You never know. When majority of the people think the market's going to go down, usually it goes up. So UEC did have some news as well. They got $9 million from Anfield for the indebtedness, and they've also acquired 96 million shares in Anfield warrants. So this is pretty nice, because I believe that Shootaring Canyon mill that Anfield has is going to be a good asset eventually. Unfortunately, management there, they have not done as well as I liked. There was no real M&As for an M&A company. Probably too many projects for that company. I really wish that things had went different, but they still got the mill, and this is good that now UEC is bringing in money. So when they do their earnings, it's going to look pretty good. They're going to talk about how uranium went up probably this quarter, and how much their uranium is actually worth, that 5 million pounds, because a lot of that they got in the $30 range. And we're going, we're on our way to 60, so it's double their investment, which is very good for a really small market cap company if you compare it to its peers in the energy sector. So what's good about this, though, is they've got so many assets. It was 25 ISR projects that they got from Uranium One. Now this portfolio, so impressive. They acquired it for only 112 million cash. In this close, they have it now. 6 million pounds of historic ISR production. If you've watched my channel, ISR is really the way to go. It's going to be really nice for them. They've got so many assets, it's really hard to keep track of. 7 satellite projects there. Wyoming is really the best place, I think, in the United States. They've got the senators, and they're really supportive of nuclear and uranium as well. Very educated on it. But also they got the Texas hub. And this is, what's really good as well is having all these assets. I really do think they're going to get good contracting with utilities when things get going. And they are so diversified. And it's not only in the U.S., it's obviously international. They've got the Athabasca Basin, Paraguay, ISR portfolio as well. And this, really puts them in a new category. This is why the stock has done really well. There is, obviously if their average here, $38 for that 5 million pounds, $38. When we get to 200, that is such a massive profit for a company whose market cap is right around $1 billion. When that uranium is worth $1 billion. And this is going to help them with any financing they need. It's going to look really good on the books. And, inflation numbers are coming out. Inflation is going to run up uranium prices by itself, not even talking about the overall supply and demand issues. So a company that was smart enough to buy this much uranium that's already in a barrel, okay? So the uranium pipeline takes forever. So this, to me, 5 million pounds of warehoused uranium is just as good as, in my opinion, 50 million pounds of uranium that's in the ground from a uranium explorer developer that is, going to have to raise a lot of money to get that uranium out if they even get the permits. Now, what's great about UEC is all these projects, these are permitted, fully permitted. And there's just, Wyoming, you pretty much have no issues because the government's, there is so supportive, like I said. But they're going to be probably locking in, when they lock in these long-term contracts with utilities, they're going to lock in, I think, at a really good price. So I do love that the company right now is very good with media, social media as well. And they're very smart. They're very smart in their marketing. They're very smart now that we're in a uranium bull market. That spending is what I like to see. But because they have such a big cash balance, they've got all that uranium, the production profile, 6.5 million pounds of U3O8 a year. That's permitted, established. That's in Wyoming, South Texas hub. They are going to be a phenomenal runner, I think. And this, who knows what the peak could be for this type of stock. I've got that position. Will I trade it? Probably. I wish I still had those shares back April of 2020. Those shares would have been phenomenal right now. But you can't really look back at it. I have the opportunity now. The position is up very nicely. So still the newer position. So we'll see how things go. I'm very excited to continue to cover uranium for you guys. You guys are really liking these videos. If this video gets 1,000 likes, remember, I'm going to start making that Uranium Documentary 3, because I started doing it before, and then things happened with the war. Things went down, got crazy, and all that information is pretty outdated. Everything now, Sprott Physical Uranium Trust never did the New York Stock Exchange listing. They weren't able to get it, but it's really, I guess, not needed. They can still raise just as much money right now through the markets in Canada. So they're able to raise $110 million, and still spot is higher than it was before any of that happened. So that is very positive. And that is going to, be a big part of our uranium run. I think past 70, they're going to continue to buy. And the utilities and traders and investors are going to come in and push that price over 100. And long-term contracting obviously is what matters in uranium. But it is very nice to see that Sprott is still able to raise money. I mean, look at the overall market. Look at the market, how bad the stocks have traded in the overall market. Yet this company is doing very well. So it is a positive outlook. When uranium's down, sometimes there's negative people talking. But remember that uranium long-term is going to probably be one of the best investments already. If you invested a couple years ago, it's already life-changing. So I believe that commodity prices are going to continue to go up, energy, record prices, and I am excited to make that documentary. So get this video to 1,000 likes or more, hopefully. And I like to see all the new people in the Discord. It's been nice. A lot of great people, really smart people. In the past few days, we've had a bunch of new people coming in. So if you are one of those, thank you. And if you want to get access to Discord, my sheets, everything, there's a link in the description below. That's where I keep everyone updated with trades and what I'm buying and selling. And I am buying and selling things. And this market, you never know. Keep everyone updated with everything. All the stuff that I just put out in this video, I'm putting out into the Discord earlier because these videos take a little bit longer. But thank you so much for the support on the channel.